Hello,
Hi.
world! We are live in the Friends Arena. I'm Gustav Dahlander, I'm an expert at Melodifestivalen.
And I'm Helena Nilsson, online producer at Melodifestivalen.
Yes, and it's huge here. We've just been attending a dress rehearsal. And for all Swedish viewers, vi kör svenska Mellosvepet efter det här. Men nu kör vi på engelska för alla utländska tittare, det stora internationella intresset. So welcome all international viewers to our English language webcast.
Yes, and we're actually going to start with a special guest, right?
Yes, we have the senior producer of Melodifestivalen right here. A lot of prominent people on location and, of course, Christer Björkman. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good, actually. Very excited. It was a great dress rehearsal. We had some issues during the day, some technical things, lighting and a little bit, I mean, nothing serious, but you know, you want to tweak all the way to the end. So, but tonight it was good, all good.
And you can write your questions for Christer if you have something particular you want to ask, and Helena will pick them up right after.
Can you read that?
Well, I'm trying to.
Really?
But you really have to. We're trying to look at what you're writing out there. But we have Helena. She's entering later and giving us everything.
She has a better screen than we do.
Yes, she does.
Cool.
So how would you summarize this year's Melodifestivalen?
I would say it's been a very smooth ride. It's been fun. We've had, I would say, very expected finalists on a whole. It's a very solid group of finalists here. They're all very experienced. They are all very competitive as well. So it's a very open story for tomorrow. There's only one debutante in the final. Paul Ray, and he's very good. But yeah, I mean, he's also very established as an artist. So he's no, you know, he's not a newcomer in that sense. So he's very solid as well. So it's actually quite interesting. It's very difficult to predict the outcome of this.
Are you watching the pre-polls?
Yes, I've been looking a little bit.
You are curious, aren't you?
I am.
We all are.
We are. Yeah, we all are. And there are movements in there still. So we don't know.
It's one of those open years, isn't it?
It is.
The show that we're going to see tomorrow, 8 o'clock CET, is it a hard show this year production-wise, the entries, or is it a smooth ride?
No, it's quite, I mean, there are quite a few complicated acts. And even if there are no specific props that are complicated maybe in some of them, still the cutting, you know, the camera work and the camera dancing, if you say so, it is tricky, and it's very arty in some songs, which is nice, you know, and we have the sort of everything, like from the traditional, you know, really hands-on, this is the delivery of the song, you know, bang on, to the sort of more arty stuff that is more complex and emotional, and where the light and the camera work sort of makes a dance together, which is very interesting. But yeah, it's always complicated, you know, and you always have to do your very, very best, because these people are competitive. They really want you to give them 100%, and that's what we try to do.
Always a lot of you are asking about the stage. How do you feel that the stage has worked out this year, and has there been any specific things to have in mind when working with it?
I love it. I love it because it's so open. It's very iconic. It's almost like an old Greek temple. And it's in that sense it's magnificent, and it's very deep, it's very large, but that also makes it very complicated, because you have to create new rooms in this very wide and empty area, and I think you can see that in these 5 finalists, that we use this stage in so many different ways. And sometimes we make it really small, sometimes we create a new world so you don't really know where you are. and then sometimes you really use the iconic grandeur of it. So it's been very, very good to work with.
Yeah, a huge stage. You're also working on another huge stage at this time, the American Song Contest project.
Yeah.
A lot of people are, of course, curious about this. How does things stand? Will there be an American Song Contest?
Well, at this point, we don't know. We have estimated a development time of approximately a year and a half. We are now halfway into that, which means that we have had time to define and redesign actually the concept to suit the American market. We have defined also a collaboration partner, a production company in the States, that in Los Angeles actually, that we work with, and we will together now create a presentation or a pitch, as they say in TV language. And with this pitch, we will eventually, later on this spring, meet a lot of platforms like networks and also social media platforms that might be interesting. And after that comes the negotiation part. And we do send in what the Americans call the suits, which are guys that are not that creative, but not with what we do on stage, but with numbers. And they will then try to strike a deal. So sometime, I would say early fall is what we estimate as when we know if it's going to happen or not. And so far, it goes well. So we haven't had any major setbacks. So we'll see.
That's great, because this is off-season for Eurovision fans. So then we have something to watch for in the off-season as well.
I know.
Do you have a concept?
That's my plan.
Yeah, thank you. Do you have a concept already for the shows? Like, is it the States competing, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, we have a concept that we are going to sell to them, and it is absolutely a contest between the States. It is more or less a TV season, and it sort of starts out in Melodifestivalen mode and ends up definitely in a Eurovision mode.
Okay, so as TV season, is this like Melodifestivalen, 6 shows or more?
Well, they are 50 states, you know, and we need to boil that down to something that is doable. So that means that we will have qualification rounds, we will have semifinals, and we will have a final.
This is so exciting. We could talk about this all night.
Yes, we could.
But we have to talk also about a little bit about the Eurovision Song Contest. Did you watch the entries, see any entries that are qualified?
No, I never do. I never look at any of that before we have a winner, because I don't really want to be affected by what is in there already, because that will, you know, that's not really good for what I do here. I want this to be open, and I want to be very open to whoever wins and take it in and start making the best of it. But once we have a winner, that's when I start looking at the competition to see, okay, what should we avoid? What should we focus on? And what in our act should we bring forward to make the most out of the competition?
You're actually not working as a contest producer for Eurovision this year.
No.
You are something else.
I'm head of delegation, and it's going to be so much fun. I mean, I've been a contest producer for the last 4 years, and to me, that means that I haven't had one day off from like September when we start doing this till end of May. And now on Sunday, I do not have to do anything. I can just relax, and I can start next week having meetings with our artist, our winner, and the team, and we can start producing what we're going to do in the Eurovision. It's going to be so nice. I really look forward to it.
There's a head of delegation meeting next week, but you're not going there.
No, we're not going. I think at this point, it really is an unnecessary risk to go there and meet 40 people from 41 countries.
Yeah, thinking about virus issues.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a new arena, a new camera plot, new lighting plot, but that can be sent to us, and you know, I've done this quite a few times before, so I'm not really worried about it.
It can be solved via the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
So Helena, any comments that comes in?
Yes, definitely. You have already answered quite a lot of the questions that come in, but some people wonder if there are any of the acts tomorrow that would be difficult to translate into a different stage, or are they all very easy to? Are they very mobile?
I would say all of them are definitely doable on another stage. There are some adjustments when it comes to amounts of people,
Yeah.
but the acts they do is still going to be good enough and strong enough, even if it's reduced with 2 people. I mean, we've had these situations before, for example, with Erik Saade, and we reduced the amounts of people on stage. We also took away, of course, all the backing vocals that we had. But it is doable. We have very talented people in this country, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, you sure have. Or we have. And people also wonder if, let's see, if you heard anything, if Aniston Demina would have his song in English or in Swedish. Do you know anything about that, if he would win?
We do have a translation.
Ah, yes.
Yes, we do, because we ask them to. Everybody who makes the final, we ask them to, if they have a song in Swedish, we ask them to actually give us a translation. So at least we have a discussion about it. I'm not sure we would. That will be a discussion we will have. But I do remember, for example, in 2004, when Lena Philipsson won, her song Det gör ont, I believe was much better in Swedish. I still think that translation makes the song different and the melody not as, easy to
Not as direct.
exactly. So it's not always the best idea to do translate it. Sometimes it's fun to just keep it in your own language.
Yeah.
I like that. So in this case, I'm not sure what I think. Not yet. I haven't thought of it.
And one more question is, would Sweden be able to host Eurovision if they would win?
Well, of course we would. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We want to win, we want to host it, and we do want to tie Ireland finally.
Yes, it's about time, right?
It is.
Yeah, but I think that was, we have summed up the questions quite good there.
All right,
So,
cool.
yeah. Gustav, did you have anything to add for Christer?
No, that's brilliant.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now you get the time to make this show to perfection.
Yeah,
for
I'm on my way
tomorrow.
to viewing room to do the final corrections.
Right.
So, thanks a lot.
Frame by frame.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Amazing, Christer Björkman, who has been working with this since 2002, and next year he has said is his final year with Melodifestivalen, and then he will retire, perhaps overseas for an American song contest.
Yeah, retire.
Well, we don't know about Aniston Demina's lyrics, but the record company said that they would plan to have it in English,
Yeah.
but obviously, as we heard, a discussion.
Well, we know at least that the lyrics is there.
And,
It's like us.
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the interview, a lot of people have questions about the coronavirus situation. SVT has announced that there will be no change of plans for Melodifestivalen. There are no recommendations from Swedish authorities to compromise public events. No public schools have closed, just private schools, a few of them, and the authorities were not happy about it. So the Melfest final is going to take place as usual, as long as there are no other recommendations from authorities. SVT monitors the situations closely and listens to authorities. And there are also two things to remember if you're going to Friends Arena tomorrow on the rehearsal or on the show. If you feel that you're ill, don't come. If you have visited recently one of the heavily affected areas, don't come. This is a safety precaution, and please follow these rules. Otherwise, Melfest is on.
Melfest is on, and if you're not able to be here in Stockholm, or if you're somewhere else in Stockholm, please watch it at SVT Play at 8 o'clock Central European Time. It's open for everybody.
Yeah, and we do have a contest as well. We have been speaking in vague terms. Now we should talk about it a little bit in sharp terms.
Yes.
We've had a dress rehearsal, and some interesting things happen in dress rehearsals on Fridays. The international jury groups set the points.
Yes.
So it's always interesting to see how did the entries do. Do you have any impressions?
About how the participant did.
Yeah, anything that went wrong or something? I saw one special effect at Paul Ray. There's an overlay effect in the camera that didn't turn off when it should turn off. It was on a few seconds to more than it was supposed to, but not a big deal. But we see it. We see it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of in the comments also people asking about some participants being sick.
Yes,
this week.
Victor Krone.
Yeah.
Has problems. He is ill, right?
Yeah, he's ill. He was ill for about a week after his semifinal and is still not 100%. But I talked with him earlier today, and he has been taking every chance just to rest. So we felt that when he was going up on stage tonight, that he had the energy to do his act.
Yeah, he took some really difficult notes there. Perhaps the voice was a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell. People are in the arena trying to hear. We also have notes. Mohombi has been ill.
Yeah.
He's had a case of malaria after visiting DR Congo, his other home country, and just recovered. And quite impressively, I think he stood his ground.
He really stood his ground tonight, and they've done some changes in his act as well. So, with both clothing-wise and brought in some dancers. So.
Yes, it's a huge difference. So definitely Mohombi has really done a remake of his stage show for the final. Also have a note that Robin Bengtsson, his vocals are very exposed in the song, and perhaps you could hear them a little bit going up and down when he was singing, but he set those final falsetto notes very clearly. And someone who impressed a lot, Hanna Färm, I think.
Oh, okay.
She was on point tonight and was really energized, and you could really see on the performance that this is competition. The juries are setting their points tonight.
Yeah. And for the jurors, vocals are very, very important. I would say they are much more important to nail the vocals tonight, because the jurors listen more to the vocals maybe than the voters at home do.
The international jury groups in Melodifestivalen just have one instruction: find the song that will have the biggest success in the Eurovision Song Contest. And in the Eurovision Song Contest, the juries have an instruction to listen to the vocal performances or the artistic performances.
Yeah,
That's
right.
one of the performances. It's criteria, so perhaps they are thinking about this.
Yeah.
Or else it's just people working with music.
Yeah, that's probably one of the key facts. And there are a lot of comments. Maybe we should already go through them now. And that is, which countries are the international jurors this year?
In the final, I don't have them all in my head. Perhaps I do. Let's see. It's starting with Israel, and we have Iceland, Armenia, we have Austria, we have the Netherlands. I don't have the order. Australia, and
France.
2 more. France.
Did you say?
Malta. So they have a press conference ongoing at the same time here. So those are the countries in the international jury. You can find the list also on the blog, and we have links from the Twitter, so you can review it. And the spokespersons are also known, the people announcing the points.
Yeah, and then you have seen previous years, I would say. And
we have the winner of the first Eurovision Song Contest held in Sweden. I don't remember the surname. The Dutch. Thank you. from Teaching. And Selma Björnsdottir from Iceland, the runner-up in the 1999 Eurovision Song Contest, on the position after Sweden when Charlotte Nilsson won. So a few interesting people there. We could just look at the pictures of the performers. We have the running order here. Yeah. Victor Krone starts the show. Troubled Waters, he has been ill. Paul Ray made it from the second chance.
Only debutant of this final.
Good point.
I see some cheering for Paul Ray already when we show it.
And we are also expecting an exit poll from the OGA Sweden fan club, Melodifestivalen, and we will see if we can get it before this webcast is over, but we hope to have it. Yeah. The Mamas, interesting case. They are number 4 in the streaming chart in the final. They are good vocalists, so the jury groups They usually like good vocalists. The Eurogroups also have a tendency to like returning acts because they might have seen Melodifestivalen before. So a little bit of a familiar, that's at least a tendency if you analyze the jury results. So perhaps they have the juries. There was a small pre-poll a few days ago where the Mamas won clearly in the popular vote. So they are in the race. Could it be the same act winning 2 years in a row?
Perhaps they also got the crowd going, I heard, tonight, so they seem to have a lot of fans in Sweden as well.
Yeah, the Mamas who were the backing singers for John Lundvik in Eurovision last year. Mohambi back in the final, and as we said, he has completely remodeled his stage show. Winners, he had a circle of light pillars in the semi-final. He still has the circle, but he has moved the pillars back.
And brought in some dancers.
Four dancers
of them
on stage. And apparently he has recovered well from his illness. So Mohambi is in the race. Hanna Ferm.
Hanna Ferm with Brave. Yeah, like you said, strong vocals tonight and has had a big fanship behind her. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how it goes after success last year to Liamo.
Yeah, good performance with international juries. She is number 3 in the streaming chart in Sweden. She was the odds favorite for quite some time, but then Dotter made a move and is now a huge odds favorite. From the second chance, Mendes, Alvaro Estrella, they have red napkins in the audience. We have them here.
Cairo. Yeah, they were them.
They look like this. And the audience didn't use this one again. If you come to the Friends Arena, bring them because waste.
We use them as
recycle.
Welcome to Sweden.
It's a nice effect, but should recycle. But Vamos Amigos, we have talked about it already and made it through from the second chance. Number 6 in the running order, halfway through. The second half is started by Daughter, performing Bulletproof.
Yes, and she's also tweaked a bit on her effects. What is it actually that she's done?
She has added more lights, so because the stage is the same size, but the arena is bigger, the stage show is bigger, and it's a bigger final. So a lot of lights, and also Dotter is the odds favorite. Yeah. A lot of people are using the hashtag Dotterdam.
Yeah, we can see it here now. A lot of cheering for Dotterdam from all over the world. I see here.
Yeah. So my impression is that among the fellow Eurovision fans, Dotter is the favorite. But among the bloggers and the journalists, Eurovision journalists, Anna Bergendahl is the favorite, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That's my impression if we talk to accredited journalists actually visiting Melodifestivalen. So just goes on to say how even this final is. Yeah. Dotter, who has these lights, she gets blinded temporarily from the lights, she told us. So when she stands there, she's trying to see the cameras. There's a red light in the cameras. This camera is the one that you're supposed to look in. Problem is, she has red lights already. So she has to memorize where the cameras are. Just fun facts. And she's really excited about being among the favorites. She has been working for so long, and she says that suddenly I'm just noticed. I don't know what happened. Robin Bengtsson.
Robin Bengtsson, Melodifestivalen winner from 2017, is now back with Take a Chance.
And he has added some smoke for the final. Otherwise, the stage show is intact from Heat 1, where he took part and made it straight to the final together with the Mamas. Yeah. Erik Segerstedt is back on backing vocals behind the stage. Yeah. So Robin Bengtsson, Take a Chance. Let's see if he will take the chance. Mariette. Next in the running order, and Mariette, who made it from the third heat in Luleå. She sings the song Shout It Out with the same kind of stage show as we have seen before. And,
stable.
Yeah, it's a stable song. It's actually the only one that hasn't charted highly on the top 50. I think it hasn't entered top 50 on Spotify. So let's see how she does. She's an amazing live singer. Felix Sandman qualified from the second chance last week.
Yes, Boys with Emotions. It's I would say this is one of the acts that looks most like it did in the semi-final and in the second chance.
Yeah, he has added more light to his face. He did it last week in the second chance. Otherwise, it's an intact stage show, and he made it from the second chance. It's his third time making it from the second chance to the final in just 4 years. All of his participations has been a qualification for the final via the second chance. And he is the only one actually in the history of the contest who has qualified 3 times from the second chance, along with Magnus Carlsson, who did it as a part of Barbados and Alcazar.
And that's just the press conference speaking behind there. But I can also add, because people asked about the position of the running order, and this is one of the good positions to be at, number 10, and also the next one.
Yes, the absolute best position historically, counting since 2015. Number 11, Anna Bergendahl this year with Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come, and also it looks quite similar to did in her semi in Göteborg.
Yeah.
She has her 6 dancers. We talked with her yesterday, and she talked that if she would perhaps go to Rotterdam, there would be 4 dancers to follow the rules of Eurovision, and then bring in the backing vocalists.
Backing singer, Britta Bergström. So Anna felt that it would be enough to have just one backing vocalist. Perhaps you could bring microphones to the dancers so they can do some backing vocals too. One of the dancers has said, Niklas, that I'm a good singer actually.
Yeah,
so
he volunteered.
On the welcome party, he actually sang a little bit when they had a karaoke part of the welcoming, at the welcoming party. So he seems stoked. Anna Bergendahl is number 12 in the streaming chart in Sweden currently. That has the best spot in the running order historically. And ending the show, Anis Don Demina.
Yes, Anis Don Demina is bringing the party to Friends Arena tomorrow. He really got the crowd going, if anybody, with his moves. And he did also a special backdrop tonight.
Yes, he had a fun special effect. He has, of course, pyrotechnics, but tonight he has this backdrop. He says Shurda Mag. Shurda is the name of his fans. But tonight he wrote some of the slides on it in English. It says, ESC jury says that Anis Don Demina will have a huge success in Rotterdam, was the final message. And the first thing he said was, international juries, when he started the song.
It
was a heavy jury focus for him tonight, and a lot of laughter backstage.
Yeah.
And I will also have to check if we have a result from the exit poll.
Because then we have to start a Swedish
that's true.
Melodifestivalen directly after this.
Let me see. I do have something. Yeah, we have it. So it's an even final, it's a close final, and a lot of people are clinging to the straws that we get in terms of information. So the result from the exit poll, it's exciting. The winner is Anis Don Demina.
Anis Don Demina, see there.
So the most popular act by far, it's a complete landslide victory for Anis Don Demina. A Swedish lyric song wins the exit poll for the final of Melodifestivalen.
Yeah.
Sweden hasn't performed in Swedish in Eurovision since 1998, the country with the longest running streak of not singing in their own language.
I must say also that it was a lot of kids here tonight, so that must have a finger in it a bit.
He has been a huge favorite in exit polls before, but this certainly says something, and he's the last one out in the running order. But when people are asked, they have seen a long show after the entry, so definitely an interesting result for Anis Don Demina. It would be exciting to see what happens if he wins big time in the public vote tomorrow. Wow. On second place, but Anis Don Demina has 82 votes, so it's not a lot of people surveyed here, 300 people. On second place, Dotter, Bulletproof, 37 votes.
Yeah, wow. That's a big difference from the number 1.
Yeah, so we can just run through the everything here because it's not a lot of votes. On third place, the Mamas, 30 votes. Dotter had 37. On fourth place, Hanna Färm, 30 votes also. So that's a split third place actually. On 5th place, Felix Sandman. Why do you say Fredrik? Felix Sandman, Boys with Emotions, 27 votes. 6th place, Anna Bergendahl, 20 votes. And split 6th place, it's also Victor Krone, 20 votes. Paul Ray, Talking in My Sleep, on 8th place, 18 votes. On 9th place, Robin Bengtsson, 17 votes. On 10th place, Mendes featuring Alvaro Estrella, 9 votes. On 11th place, Mohombi, 7 votes. And on 12th place, Mariette, 3 votes.
There we have it. And you can of course read it more fully on Gustav's expert blog.
Yeah, later tonight.
Later tonight,
now
yeah,
I'm
because
here,
we can't.
Unfortunately.
Or we will talk also more on it in Melodifestivalen when our online hostess and Gustav will do the Swedish live stream.
Yeah, lots of interesting things to try to analyze in the lead up to the final, but it certainly doesn't get more clear. We get different results in almost every poll. Hannes Don Demina has the streaming chart. He's number 1 in the streaming too, and arguably has the biggest streaming hit in this year's Melodifestivalen. And now he won the exit poll.
Well, that will be the ending words of this stream, and hope you will be watching the show tomorrow. And I see still there are a lot of comments rolling in, people
chiming in.
Yes, but for now I'll have to say thank you for watching and good night.
Yes, and don't forget Melodifestivalen starting at SVT Play webcast at 2000 CET tomorrow, Saturday night. It will be an amazing show, don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Okay.
Thank you for being with us through the weeks. Lovely to have you here. Love to see all the enthusiasm for Melodifestivalen and hope to see you sometime soon. Take care and enjoy the show.
Good night. God kväll.